All right, good morning. So we have the Vats Bypass Module. We'll be putting this on our 2002 Pontiac Trans Am. Pretty much comes in a Ziploc bag with these instructions and this device, which has several ways to change the resistance. So I have not read the instructions. I don't think I need them, but we'll see. We have our multimeter here to read resistance, and we have our keys. So I'm going to set up the cell phone. I'm going to read the resistance here, and my goal is to read the resistance here and get them to match, and then put it in the car and see what happens. All right, so let's take this out and see what we got. We got 2 screws to hold the lid on pretty much. And then we have several of these ways to make adjustment for resistance. Next, I already have a multimeter in the horseshoe looking one, which is ohms. Hopefully my key still reads. We can do a little self check. Make sure we're zeroed out. We're close enough, that's fine. To me, as long as this number isn't like 1, 2 or something, then I know the ohms are decent. So now on our Trans Am, this black thing, dog might hit the camera, looks pretty good. We're just gonna read the resistance between both sides here, this little line right here. And we should get an indication on our multimeter. Hopefully it still works. I have had my Vats bypassed with resistors for a while. So we need to try to get to 1.867 ohms. And so let's write that down before I forget. Right down here, 1.865. So, like I said, I haven't read the instructions, but it says some of the Vats we're looking for. Looks like we're going to go for number 7. It has 15 different resistance values. We want number 7. I don't know. Maybe we can just move number 7 up there, but while they're all down, let's just see what it says now. I really don't know. I haven't done any of this. I actually was going to do it and I didn't record it, and I was like, well, this is perfect content, really. Well, I don't know, and then surely someone else won't know. All right, try to get this the best I can. And so it looks like it's completely open right now. It ain't reading anything. Just double check. Yep. So now I'm going to take number 7 here and move it right here. And let's see if we got 1.8. Put it back in here. If it is this easy, I'm glad I bought this. That will get us in the ballpark. So we're at 1.794. We read 1.867. That is I will tell you, I know for a fact that the car sees like a variable in resistance because it knows that the key isn't the tightest fitting setup. So saying that now, I'm going to go ahead and put the back onto here with some screws, and then we'll go to the car and actually unplug the Vats and put this in. All right, so we got our Vats buttoned up. Figure before we get to the car, I'll do a brief what is a Vats. So pretty much to go back to this is made by Gator tools. I found it through one of the Facebook pages when someone was talking about bypassing their Vats, that they recommended Gator. Like I said, I've had my Vats bypassed for a while now because my key started giving me issues when I was far from home. Couldn't have that happen. My car alarm would go off, and it was annoying. So I bypassed it with just measuring my resistance on my key. And I bought resistors or ordered them off Amazon and just simulated it. The problem is my resistors keep corroding. They're probably cheap, and I lose my resistance value. The car still stays running, but my security light's on, and I'm just scared it's going to leave me broke down. saying all that, that's why I wanted something more of a better product to not leave me broke down. Now, what is VATS? VATS is pretty much GM's way of a security system, so someone just can't take a screwdriver to your security, to your lock mechanism, you know, beat out the lock with a hammer screwdriver and turn it over, because it's really as simple as that, to be truthful. Once you take out your key mechanism, it's really nothing than it looks like a flat tip screwdriver sticking out. So like a pair of needle nose pliers or something like that could grab it, or maybe different models, but most of them I've seen, it looks like a screwdriver tip. Just like, for instance, if you see me with the Cutlass not too long ago, I literally had a pair of vice grips after I removed the lock cylinder. Well, GM's answer to that is VATS. The problem with VATS is it's not dependable. It will leave you stranded somewhere, and it's just easier to bypass it and add you a toggle switch. Take one of these wires and now add a toggle switch somewhere hidden in the car. You can put it in the trunk. You have to have long leads. But what you do is you cut this wire, one of these wires, it don't matter. As long as you disconnect it with a toggle switch, now you still got a security feature. I unofficially have something like that in my car. I guess you can tell I do. I have a hidden toggle switch in my VATS system. So if someone tries to attempt to steal my car, I'll have that toggle switch off. Now, do they find it? Sure, they probably can. The problem, the whole idea is to slow them down. And if they have a wrecker, none of this matters. But this is pretty much just another feature by GM to try to prevent theft. The problem is it's unreliable. You can delete it in HP tuners, but that does not stop your BCM, your body control module, from not allowing the starter to engage. It'll alert you, just sit there and do this and your security light is on. So I have the HP tuner deleted for VATS, and I have resistors, and now we're going to I call it a superior setup, hopefully, once we test this. Hope that helps somebody. Now let's get to the car. All right, so we're to our car. What do we need to access our wiring? You need your 7mm socket here, and you need a Phillips head. Pretty much, we're going to turn my headlight on so we can see. We're going to remove this screw. This screw, there should be a 7mm somewhere right here, and a 7mm here. And then we're going to lower this panel down. And you can see it's kind of just like a beauty cover for all your wiring up here. But it's just, once you drop this, and then you can, I think I got them backwards, but I can't drop this panel until I remove this panel. So let's get those dropped, and let's get to that. Next, this, you have to drop, there's a plastic push-up device here, pretty much this one. You have one here, you one here. You just kind of wiggle it down until the plastic comes out, and then this drops. This is that beauty cover. I just put everything to the side. So now I got all types of wiring for trans brakes and lockup and the Holley integrated. But anyways, I have to dig the wiring out, but it's going to be somewhere in here because I've, like I said, added the resistors. So let me get to that. All right, so I had to go to the other Trans Am and cut this out because this car, when I added those resistors, actually cut a piece of it out. So you can see here, this is what I had. This is all the resistors that are giving me issue. I have like 4 or 5 of them in a line, and that's why I'm failing. So I'm gonna cut this wire back. I'm gonna add this, and I'll go and show y'all that the car will not crank with that out like it is. Wherever I did my keys. All right, let me go get the keys. They're over on. All right, we got our keys. We're gonna go ahead, put this in ignition. You'll see our security light come up here, and it's flashing. Turn the air off too. And this is what happens when your VATS pretty much fails. It's just flashing at you. You can see nothing. So let's splice on this pigtail and put this in line, and hopefully it starts. All right, due to how I ran the toggle switch, I cannot show you everything, but key on, plugged up, goes through its normal thing. Done. So now I'm going to turn the toggle switch off. Let me get to it, and I'll show you the next move. Then I'll disconnect everything and show you what we got going on. All right, toggle switch off. Like I said, we're just opening, put the toggle switch in line. You can see we're flashing. It does not see any resistance, so we do maintain a little bit of a security feature. And let me take everything apart and show you what I did. All right, so we have our box here. It's our Vats box, connected just like OEM. I do not know if these two wires that we're looking at are reversed to these. It don't matter. It just sees resistance. You can see how I just got this one spliced. It is just like I said, OEM here. You shouldn't have a splice because yours wasn't, if you hadn't did what I did with adding resistors. And then you can see this is where I cut into these lines, and I'm having to hold the wires out the harness so you can tell. But the wires is pretty much this is where my toggle is, and then the wires are running to a hidden location in the car. And that way I can flip that toggle, and we still got somewhat of a security system to slow them down. They can find the toggle, but we're just trying to slow them down. And it works perfectly as demonstrated in the previous clips. Hope that helps somebody. One of the other things I wanted to add, I'm 90% sure VAT stands for Vehicle Anti-Theft. That makes more sense about why we're talking about security on everything we do. And I hope this helps somebody. Some locations to hide your toggle switch that I found works. Some people do it in their glove box. Some people do it in their into their center console. Some people do it in the ashtray. And not trying to help thieves, but sometimes you just have to be creative. And how much do you want to be inconvenienced as the owner? Hide it under the hood, hide it under the dash somewhere, put in an AC vent. I've seen it and I've done it, all of it. Make them look for it. I have one particular car in the past I did. Yeah, I do got toggle switch, but I had it where the toggle switch was removable. So if I knew I was in a high risk area, I'll just take the toggle switch from it. That does not mean there's other alternatives for that theft or thief if he really wants the car. Like I said, this does not stop a rollback or a wrecker by no means. I had one buddy, he actually would remove his ECU out of the car. It actually prevented theft. Believe it or not, it was at a mall, and someone literally destroyed his center console on a Honda Civic though. Trying to beat out that lock cylinder I talked about, and they actually destroyed the center console for the steering. But there's no ECU, nothing to steal. So just ideas on theft protection. We can only do so much to mitigate it, guys. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. I hope it taught someone something. And this is a good product. I highly recommend it. It is Gator tools, their VAT unit. And plug and play if you haven't already hacked up your wiring like I did. See you on to the next one.